Well, we are now into the following day. We blew the corn out of the bin last night. Kind of ran out of daylight here. And we're just getting all the stuff blown off the head. Sarah had this all washed. However, we had to get into the inside of it a little bit. Washed that out. We dropped the oil out of it. Changed all the filters on it. And we're just kind of buttoning it up here now. Got the right side greased. I've got to grease this side yet. But we need to blow some more corn off it and get our panels back on. My nephews, Andrew and my nephews, have been washing dump wagons and whatever. We want to put this corn head away. We kind of want to intertwine that in with the dump wagon, so we haven't got to move so many things. When we go to get stuff out this spring, they're going in the same building that the corn planters are in. So obviously we're going to need the corn planter before we need the corn head first, right? That's the plan anyway. So, alright, I got a little bit more left to do on this combine. We'll get this cleaned up, and I'm half thinking, Alright, things are washed up, just about boxed up. Don't carry it so high. If you drop it, you might ruin it.
It's already ruined. It's a Kubota. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, there's something wrong with the engine on that. And that machine there is our third Kubota skid steer. And it is not a year old yet. We got that back in December of 2023. Alright, so between Fitzy and Andrew, they've got this head all cleaned up. And we are going to put it away. Something missing right there. You guys know what that is? It's a ghost. It's got a ghost jack stand on there. So, yeah, how are we going to tackle that? We're going to need to take a couple of blocks of wood. Why don't you grab 2 6x6s, throw them in the head. And yeah, that frickin' pin broke one day here. I don't know what holds that in either, but it's all washed up. We do need to get the chopper cleaned up. We're going to work on that next week. So we'll go ahead and get the head put away. And then we've got both dump wagons to go and get put away as well. Button. Gotta get square with the head. Did run the combine a little bit this year, and I had my thumb trained mucho wrong. There we are. So now we gotta hook up the hydraulics and lock it on there. Alright, so we've got that hooked up. Andrew and my nephew Fitz, they're going to bring the dump wagons over. Now, we will get into talking about this chopper once we get to actually working on it, but this worked phenomenally this year, and it did it did somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 plus acres this year, and a lot of tons of material went through this machine this year. And for the past, I don't know, 3-4 years, this machine, we're going to be going into our 8th year next year. This machine is a 2018 year model, and we just got finished with our 7th year with this machine. Most farms, most guys will run a machine like this for 3, 4, 5 years. And you guys have been after me for I don't know how long. When are you getting a new chopper? When are you getting a new chopper? Well, you know, you're going to be broke down and everything else. Well, we're going to be going into the 8th year next year with this same machine. However, we did buy a backup machine. It was kind of in our plans to do that for almost about a year now. If you recall, we ended up buying a kernel processor, a different one for this, and we kept our old one. So we have a second kernel processor. And I kind of shot from the hip here. This year when the head failed, we probably could have limped through first cutting with the hay head that we had. If you recall, the center bearing went. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to deal with it. We're not going to be down for one more minute. We lost a couple hours that day. And it was our first purchase from Seidenstricker Nove, which was prior to that, it was Kaz Equipment. About 15 minutes before I decided to buy the, 15 minutes before the hay head broke down, it was Kaz Equipment. But right at that particular moment, they were getting ready to make that transition. And I ended up buying a brand new head to get through first cut. Now I had some of these goofballs on here saying, oh, you should have been doing this, and you should have been doing that, and you should have been spending your money here, and you should have been spending it there, and whatever. I pay no attention to you. Your thought process, your comment is nothing. I just bought the head. It was $48,000. Rebuilt the other one. The other head, the original head that came with this machine, we did second, third, and fourth cutting with it. Put, I don't know, 10 grand into it. No big deal. And went on with it. Ended up using a tire off of that new head, so it was good to have it for that. And we ended up using some brackets, attachment brackets off of it. So it worked out perfect. Again, you know, I got these critics that are awful worried about something that we have that's mucho wore out. Oh well. So, we have been getting comments here that, oh yeah, you're going to be hung with this machine, and well, you're probably right, but the amount of acres that we're covering, nobody runs a machine like this over the amount of acres that we're running. So we bought a secondary machine. We've got a head for it, we've got a kernel processor for it. All we need to do is get a corn head. So we've got that all figured out. We probably won't see that for a while here. And when we do see it, I will show it to you guys, explain it to you, and we'll go from there. So we don't have to worry anymore about how old this machine is and how we're going to be broke down and we're going to be inefficient and we're going to lose feed value and everything like that. So don't worry, we now have a backup machine. So we'll cross that road when we get to it here. So, all right, we'll get this head parked up in the building that we're going to put it in. We've got to stuff the dump wagons in there, and then we're going to go ahead and put the combine away too. So we'll join up with you guys in a little while. All right, so we've got things parked up in here. We didn't need those blocks of wood. We could have used it underneath the frickin'. We could have used it underneath this one dump wagon. Oh well. This dump wagon here has a junk jack on it, or a non-existing jack, and that parks itself on the ground. But we've got to be able to get these corn planters out. I don't know. Probably the best thing to do is come over to get these corn planters with a tractor that doesn't have duals on it. That first dump wagon we put in with a tractor that had duals on front and rear, and that was a pain in the ass. Now, what I was surprised to see here, this planter here is the new one, and it looks like we have wind in all 4 tires. And I have not tubed these yet. For any of you that have John Deere planters, you'll know that that is almost impossible. But they are using a different tire now. I don't know if it's the same size rim or not. As what the other planter has, I think it is a different size rim. What size rim is that, Fitz? You got better eyes than I have. These are 15-inch here. Now, what are these, 17s or 16s?
These are 19 and a half.
19 and a half, they're 19.5s. So, well, not every. The 12-row planter that we had before this older 16-row, which is that 16-row planter right there, is going to be, oh, that's going to be 9 years old this year or 8 years old. Well, she's planted some acres, but we've had to put tubes in the tires because they don't make it from one season to the next. Hell, they won't even make it through a whole planting season. So that planter there, we tubed the 12-row. Dan's got the 12-row now, but a neighbor had that, and then now another neighbor has it. But we tubed all the wheels on this one, and then, or the older one, and then we're running a heavy-duty radial tire on this old planter, which everybody's gone to doing that. Almost the same looking tire. Firestone on the new one. I don't know if these are Firestone or are they, yeah, they're Firestone as well. So yeah, there's wind in all them tires too. So the next time we come over here, we'll be parking this chopper hopefully, and the other one, and then we've got to get the hay heads in here too, which I've got to run through putting some things on the new hay head, and I want to service the old one. So I think we'll have enough room for 2 choppers, 1 Dares and 1 Dares.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get this combine put away now. Well, we'll get this machine back home. It's just things just didn't work out. We probably could have left the dump wagons at home and hooked onto them again after the fact, and brought everything all over at once. I know I'll have a bunch of you probably wondering why we just didn't wait until we had everything all set, but the dump wagons weren't hooked to nothing. They weren't hooked to anything. They had to be washed. We hooked them up to 2 tractors. Washed them, why unhook them? So things have to be done in baby steps. It's just the way it goes. So I figured, you know what? I stopped doing what I was doing on the combine, had to interrupt that process a little bits. And I said, if we wash that corn head, we'll be able to sneak that in, and then that's not hanging around outside for who knows how long. I could stuff both of those hay heads in the hay barn. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I wanted to get the combine done and get it out of the dooryard. It is serviced up. It is all ready to go right into wheat for 2025. We've got the belt on there. We've got the oil changed. We've got everything is just set up and ready to go. So we'll get that put away. And it's kind of one thing at a time here. So we're saving this machine here to clean up here next week, because what I want to do is I want to do this in a couple of different stages. What I want to do is I want to get this cleaned up, then I want to pull the pipe off, wash it a little more, then I want to pull that housing off, and once I get that housing pulled off, the blower housing that is, that's going to open up another area on the chopper that's going to be dirty. So we'll get in there and rewash that. And then we'll get our new housing on there, and then we're going to go through this machine from the very front to the very back. I've got some hoses that I want to look at. Being that we're coming into year number 8, we've got to address that. We don't need to have any fires here next year. We want to have this machine get through the year and then only use that backup machine in the event that we need it. For the most part, we only need one chopper. We just need one chopper to run all the time. And if we have a flat tire on this or something minor goes on it, we'll be able to fall back onto that other one, and it's always going to be ready to go. So we're going to get back to the farm, park this up, grab the combine, get that put away, and that will be its resting place until we need to get that out here in July of 25. So that'll sit for 6-7 months at least before we even need to think about moving it again. So it's just the way we do things. We usually clean up the first piece of equipment that we got done with last and start working on down the line that way. It doesn't really make sense. We've been done with this machine here for 3 weeks and it's not washed yet. It's just the way it goes. So, yeah. Alright, so we've got this ready to put away, but before we go and do that, we'll do the head first. We're going to oil the chains here. We've got to oil the chains on the head, and we need to oil, there's one on the right hand side. I got to pull this truck ahead. I gotta go forward. There's a truck that wants to come out of the shop here. So we're gonna move ahead. We can put this guy down. And we're gonna carefully have him oil these chains. I think we're good. Separator engage, head engage. Got all kinds of bells and whistles going off because we are idling. So we've got everything going off. We've got engine speed, tailings, grain elevator, grain separator, auger conveyor, all that stuff. But we want to focus on him doing these chains. We need to shut this off quick like in the event that something dangerous happens. So I do have a wire that we can plug into the seat that allows you to run the head without an operator in the seat, but that gets a little dangerous. All he's doing is just pouring it down on the horn a little bit. Now this is better to be done at night after you've used the combine. The chains are a little warmer and the heat will suck the oil right into the links itself, but we just want to put a little bit of stuffs on them so that there is a little bit of a little preserve, more or less. Now he's got one inside the head over there, the chain that runs the auger. You can just pour right on the top of the shroud and that'll fall in the crack and it'll get right on the chain. And he's got another one on the right hand side for the feeder house. Gotta make sure he doesn't get his hand caught in there. Now he's got two left on this other side. So I can shut the head off now. Good. The oil spilled on everything. So, all right, I'll run this over there. Everything is gently oiled. All right, we've got this parked up, and that is where it's going to stay for the winter. We've got enough room to get maybe a silage truck in here and something else. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. Well, thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. This white little path is where we had the combine parked about 4 or 5 years ago, and this lime is still on the floor. And if you followed along in the last videos, you'll know what the lime does. If you don't know what it does, you'll have to go back and watch an old one.